Now to our final big story. Rivers State Legislative Rerun election, originally scheduled for July the 30th, was postponed indefinitely and no later date has been fixed.
We bring you this report that was filed in by Rivers State correspondent Uche Okoro before the postponement was announced.
In the build-up to the now postponed July the 30th rerun, INEC had convened several stakeholders meetings in Rivers State. At the end of these, peace accords were signed. Conveners of this fora had thought that they would go a long way in forestalling a repeat of the orgy of violence that marred two previous elections in the state in the last 1 year. But the INEC commissioner regrets that the political tension in the state had rather continued unabated. According to him, with the number of inconclusive elections in the country, it would have been ill-advised to proceed with the conduct of the rerun elections in Rivers State.
The commission is only saying that the politicians did not meet up with what they promised. They said they would restrain their supporters. By burning that office, does that show that they are restrained? They said there will not be hate speeches. By all the speeches they made in the state, did that show that they have refrained from hate speeches? They said, well, this time around, they are going to look at it as a game. Their attitude shows that they were looking at it as a game. No. So the election would have ended up the way the March 19 ended. Then we will now call for another rerun election in Rivers State and keep spending money, keep wasting time, keep wasting sometimes life.
Koiwak denied allegations that rerun elections were postponed indefinitely to favor either of the two major political parties in the state. He gave assurance that INEC would continue to hold peace talks with the political parties, their candidates, and other stakeholders.
We have interaction with parties. That is why even when the date was fixed, the parties were invited to tell them, look, this is how we look at it. This is the date proposed. Do you agree? So that means there is collaborations and interactions. But coming to the issue of working with one political party in the detriment of the other political party, I say no. INEC is an independent organization saddled with the responsibility of conducting an election.
The Rivers INEC commissioner also hinted that the commission is working with security agencies to beef up security around its facilities across the state. It would be recalled that only last week, INEC's office in Bori, Kana local government area of the state, was set ablaze by suspected political thugs. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
All right, a social development analyst, Borve Paago Imabel, joins us now from our Port Harcourt studio. Borve, it's good to have you join us on TVC Breakfast. Now, the rerun election in Rivers State is one thing in the minds of so many political watchers generally. We know that the INEC, which is the umpire, has come to say that there's tension, and with that tension, certainly there can't be election. Now, from your perspective, what you have been seeing all the while, what is really at stake in Rivers State rerun election that is making or pitching the political parties against each other, where it has taken things to another level where there's so much tension and the rerun election has to be shifted again and again?
Okay, thank you so much, Mike and Busla. It's good to be with you again. And the key issues here that we are looking at is that of bitterness amongst the political parties in the state, which have heightened in the process of getting themselves to be elected into office. It is becoming an alarming situation which has put the state and indeed the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District in so much of bad light, internationally and also at the national level. The people are getting apathetic because the political class is putting themselves not as leaders or being responsive as expected by the people, but making people understand so much how they are fighting over personalized issues other than key issues that represent the very fabric of the society for which they opt to represent in the national and state houses of assembly. It is so apt and pertinent to the point that the social, economic, and political realities are left, but frivolous and trivial issues are brought to the fore by the political class. This makes us understand that they have not gotten the full grasp of the need of the electorate which they seek to serve. It also tells us how much our political culture has remained stagnant. Over 16 years of a democratic trend, we are yet to come to terms with what democracy and indeed elections mean to the people and the country. This is causing huge social tension and loss. Now, if you are a political party and you are in the process of coming to power, the vehicle in which you come to that destination and effectualize governance for the people is the election. And you are driving there on the will of the people, which gives sovereign power to the government of a state. However, the people are suffering from arsonist attacks. Government institutions are becoming easy targets because we are unable to demonstrate the level of leadership that is expected of us.
All right, Borve.
This is a situation that needs actual intervention, not just by the security agencies, but by social groups, civil society organizations, in terms of ensuring that awareness is further created. And the political class, the politicians themselves, are brought to bear, are brought to understanding that their attitude can bring people to disrepute, not participating in elections anymore.
All right,
in
Borve,
these districts that are so affected.
Okay, may I interrupt you? Borve, the reports that you have are watched in the media, of course, of a security mishap going on in River State, killings, a lot of cultic activities going on there. These are not just these are not just wishes, or these are not just people being preemptive of a bad omen going on there. These things are really happening. And the people you're talking about, these cultists, perhaps ex-militants, are part of the people. So beyond the civil society, do you think the fabrics of the society itself, talking about the leaders, the religious groups in the particular society, should also be involved in this matter?
Yes, they all have a role. Indeed, everybody in the society have a role to play. It demands a multi approach to addressing these issues. I want to look at the mandate of INEC, the election umpire, against the people, in discharging their, towards the people, not against, towards the people in discharging their duties. What is INEC's mandate in terms of interface, in terms of stakeholder involvement, in terms of monitoring, in terms of also information gathering, which will, because civil societies, including faith-based organizations, as you're describing, will not just on their own come into the circle to play. What they will do is that they, at every point in time, will be watching the actions of INEC and the way they are involved. They will have dictates by INEC. They will play along the rules. Now, we are in a society that is highly religious, and I do not understand why possibly INEC cannot come down to interface and maintain a sort of relationship with faith-based organizations as massive as they are in terms of coverage in this state and even beyond, in every election in Nigeria, such that those influential religious leaders, other public opinion leaders, and influential traditional rulers are brought into the circle to ensuring that peace is nice with the people, and then people begin to understand the position of not just the institution, but also people who are seen as role models and leaders in society. You will understand again that most of these persons, including those who are used by politicians, come to church and they do thanksgiving. And possibly what we do is just to receive and do not give instruction. So there's so much of interplay that needs to be galvanized here, and the electorate themselves should be able to speak up. If you're coming to canvass for my vote, you need to assure me of my security. I need to secure from you that the society I'm living, you are going to further ensuring that I live peacefully, and that you who are in competition or contest with another political rival know exactly what you're doing, and not to derail the process that will bring all of us to exercising our obligations as citizens of the country called Nigeria.
All right, Borve.
In so doing,
yes,
we will.
Borve, let me bring in this. We know that the various political parties have signed a peace accord at a time, and we expect that when you sign the document, you are agreeing that it becomes binding on you, and that's what we expect. And so we expect that there should be some level of impact and even effectiveness of that peace accord on the ground when it comes to having relative peace on the ground.
Yeah, that is our expectation. And that is again why I am questioning the appropriateness, the relevance of the laws governing elections in the country. Every country tends to ensure that it lives up to date with its mandate in terms of the rule of law. But the inadequacies of our electoral laws seems to be coming out even the more within the situation that is playing out in Rivers State. Why am I saying this? If our electoral laws are obsolete, we need to continually update it such that people will not just be playing because I am a political person seeking for vote, but I will be reminded constantly. Are there punitive measures prescribed by the laws, the electoral laws of the country? Do we look at the huge budgetary expenses that we are making each time this rerun is coming about in any part of the country, not just Rivers State? And do we bring these persons to understanding that the country is at so much loss because of the actions of their supporters? Because I understand most times that the key players do not instruct their supporters ordinarily to go undertake actions that will derail the system. It could be out of overzealousness. It could also be that there are certain things behind the scene that we are not seeing. But what is the role of the security apparatus? I'm talking about the DSS, the police, and other state security agencies in gathering information that can be utilized in terms of patterning out our elections based on such information. It's not just about cancellation of elections. It's about ensuring that this information is used for planning and execution. And so if I know that I have gathered information and it is a security threat to the process that we are going to embark upon, I am supposed to, as INEC, within the purviews of the law, review the information that I have gotten and ask the involvement of state security agencies to ensuring that this is nipped in the bud. I do not want to believe that we take glory in losing these huge expenses every time election is called upon in any part of the country. I want to believe that Nigerians will wake up to a day where election planning will become as critical as our having our daily bread, our food on our table.
But Borve, do you think the issue is the lack of electoral law or the obsoleteness of the electoral law? Because everything we are talking about are well stipulated in the present electoral law, where you are not allowed to make hate speech, you are not allowed to perpetrate violence, and those who are found wanting are made to be prosecuted. But that's not what we are seeing. Well, these things are there, they are clear, they are well stipulated in the electoral laws, but there are no prosecution. And that brings to the fore the issue of allegations of security agencies being compromised, and perhaps even some civil society organizations being compromised when it comes to elections.
Yes, I am saying almost the same thing as you. Our laws need to be not just existing, but it should be seen as taking its course. Like I will always say, the presence of security men on the street, the presence of policemen, do not at any point in time effectualize security. What effectualizes security is the long hands of the law that catches up with a culprit, no matter where you would have committed a crime. And so the political class should also be made to understanding that the electoral laws are not just there. Punitive measures should be applied. People should be made under the laws of the country called Nigeria to answer questions for their actions or inactions. And so if INEC is coordinating an election, INEC needs to also monitor the campaign process to ensuring that these people are not just saying that I have signed a peace accord, but as part of my every delivery, I am telling my supporters, my fans to be, my constituents to be, that the key thing in existence is peacefulness. You cannot rule in a society where there is no peace. I cannot represent you if there is no peace. For instance, in the areas where there has been military attacks in the country and the people have run away, what will you do? And now we are looking at a situation where bigwigs, big names, imagine, we have leaders like Senator Magnus Abe, we have Senator Olaka Wogu, and all others, Honorable Maurice Pronin, and also Dr. Mbina, Dr. Barry Mpigi. These are people who are leaders and they are well-known and astute politicians in their rights, and they are contesting for these elections and also the state assembly. And we are unable to bring our people to understanding that my representation of your own constituency depends on your own existence and continual stay in your locality. And so the laws should be made to determine every politician's action, and not the politician's action determining the effectualization of a law. A politician should be able to come to terms with the law, and the law should not in any way be compromised either because of the persons involved or the political party involved. We are vehicles in the hands of our people, and our people await our readiness, the astuteness of our leadership and our styles to bring in dividends to them. Imagine that we have been denied representation in the National Assembly for as long as we can think of. They are padding the budget, and Rivers Southeast, and indeed most of Rivers State, is not represented in the National Assembly. How many constituency projects are we bringing? Because of insecurity, billions are being carted away to other constituencies in the country, and we are sitting here not having an idea of what a constituency project means in the 2016 budget that has already been passed. This is huge marginalization, and as much as possible, INEC, and I am indicting INEC and the federal government for ensuring that this situation has continued the much it has continued without sitting up. How can the entire Ogoni race, Andoni race, Opobo race be left unrepresented in our national assemblies and also in the state assembly in Rivers State? This is not what Nigeria should be doing to us when we already have environmental issues that we are contending with. We have militancy issues we are contending with. We have other social vices that we are all crying about. There's hunger in the land, and our people are continually denied their representation just because the laws of the land is inappropriately captured or crafted, and punitive measures are not meted out to maybe corporates who are undertaking these levels of arsonist attacks on government and political institutions. It is absurd, and the Nigerian state need to bring this, because it is Rivers State today. Tomorrow it will be another part of the country, and then we enjoy a situation that continues this way. It is a sad event playing out, and it has given our people very bad image internationally and also at the national level, as though we do not know what political life is. For me and my people, we should be seeing signs of maturing political culture. We should be seeing signs of acceptance, of awareness of the electoral process, of participation, increased participation of citizens driving the process, other than extant things that we do not know about and selfish interests driving this process. So if we are bringing our people to the table, like the law will always say, if you are coming to justice, please come with clean hands. Our political class should come with clean hands to discussing the future of our people on the table, on the platform. We need dialogue, much more of engagement with our civil society. We need dialogue with our communities. We need people to understand that it is their mandate that we are running on, and we need to deliver on those mandates. We do not need people to take security or insecurity as just any issue, because the moment insecurity happens, we are all extracted or removed from our locations. We become internally displaced. Now we are politically displaced in the Nigerian nation.
Right.
And we need, as much as we can, much more of these engagements and representation in the National Assembly.
Yeah.
So that we can...
All right, Borve, it's really quite interesting when you paint the picture like that, talking about political culture and displacement and marginalization and all of that. But one way or the other, different analysts have talked about the fact that, just like you mentioned earlier, that there are so many highly placed, highly intelligent people from that area who are part of the system and who are supposed to know what is supposed to be at stake. So they should be able to restrain and then play the game the way it's supposed to be. But however, let me bring you down to the issue of the CBOs and religious organizations generally. It's all right. I'm being told that this is where we have to draw the curtains right now. But however, this topic is quite interesting, but we'll find time to talk about it more as we get along. Borve Paago, Imabel, thank you for talking to us on TVC Breakfast.